Hello learners, I Dr. Niradhar De, faculty member, School of Education, welcome you all today's live session, today's Facebook live session of B.Ed workshop, B.Ed first year workshop. Today's topic is organizing subjects in school curriculum. Friends, let me to say, you might be knowing that one of the core course that has been included in the B.Ed first year program, course code is BES 125 and course title is Understanding Disciplines and Subject. This topic, organizing subjects in school curriculum, this has been taken from the course Understanding Disciplines and Subject. You see, this is one of the important course, and you can say this is one of the new course which is included in B.Ed program as per NCTE regulations 2014. And let me to say, this is one of the new concept, one of the new course. Accordingly, another two concept, another two new course that has also been included in the B.Ed program, that is language across the curriculum, and another one is that is relating to curriculum studies. So friends, let us focus on today's title, today's topic of your workshop, that is organizing subjects in school curriculum. Let us go forward. So let me to say that these are the certain learning outcomes after going through this live video program, this session. I am sure that you will be able to discuss the rationale of the basis which the syllabi of different subject areas are organized. Then further you will be able to explain why different subject wise syllabi are drawn up for different levels of school education. Then you will be able to describe how selection of content is made to design syllabi in different subject areas. Further, you will be able to explain how different needs of different stakeholders are met in the teaching and learning of different subject areas at different levels of school education. And further, this is also another learning outcome, that is you will be able to discuss the implications of having a uniform syllabus vis-a-vis locally designed syllabus. So friends, care has been taken that from different aspect of this session, from different aspect of this topic, certain learning outcomes that has been included, and I am sure that after going through this video program, you will be able to achieve these learning outcomes. You have already received the study materials. Then what you have to do after going through this video, if study material is in your hand, then definitely you should have a look. You should go through, you should study the material so that you can better understand. Because you see, this is one of the course, or particularly if I will say that the topic that has been taken today, this topic, this is a type of new topic, and you can say this is a type of bridge topic also. That means how to bridge content and pedagogy, how to use pedagogy to transact content. So for transacting content, you are supposed to use certain pedagogy. So that's why we have 5 different pedagogy courses, that is pedagogy of science, pedagogy of social sciences, pedagogy of languages, pedagogy of mathematics, as well as pedagogy of Hindi language. So here this course will help you to understand pedagogical concept. At the same time, this course will help you to use the concept of different subjects, concept of different, you can say, discipline, to make your teaching learning process multidisciplinary as well as transdisciplinary, which is highly reflected in National Curriculum Framework 2005. So friends, I am sure that these learning outcomes you will achieve after going through this entire video program. Let us go forward. So let me to say that who involved in curriculum planning. When we talk about disciplinary knowledge and how curriculum is designed and how school syllabus is designed, then definitely certain questions come to our mind that who involved in the curriculum planning. So friends, you know, education in our Indian constitution, education is in the concurrent list. It means it is the responsibility of the central government. At the same time, the different state governments to transact curriculum, to develop curriculum and to transact curriculum. At the same time, to develop textbooks also. So here at the national level, the National Council of Educational Research and Training, NCRT, they developed the National Curriculum Framework, okay, NCF, at a different time, according to the need of the time, according to the requirement, according to the changing need of the society, according to the changing need of pedagogy, nature of the subject, knowledge base. So time and again NCRT come forward with National Curriculum Framework for school education, because we are talking about our program is for teacher preparation program, we are preparing teachers. So that's why our focus is on school education. So NCRT at the national level, NCRT is highly involved for developing the National Curriculum Framework. And further, at different state level, we have the State Council for Educational Research and Training, that is called as the SCERT. So further, as per the concept, as per the philosophy, as per the fundamental principles of National Curriculum Framework, you will find that different state government, what they do, they follow the National Curriculum Framework developed by NCRT, and they also develop their own syllabus on the basis of the NCF curriculum, on the basis of the NCRT based curriculum. And further we can say that the state institutes of education, SIEs, they are also involved in curriculum planning, curriculum development. At the same time, in different states, you will find that state textbook boards are there, that's called as STB, State Textbook Board. So it is their work that when SCRT will develop the curriculum, as per the SCRT curriculum, State Textbook Board, they develop the textbook for the students, starting from class 1 to class 10th, you can say. Okay, so at the elementary level, then at the secondary level, elementary level, the present practices that we can say, one is the lower primary, then is the upper primary, class 1 to 5, that's come under lower primary, then upper primary, that is class 6, 7 and 8, and total if you include the lower primary stage at the, as well as the upper primary stage, then we can say that starting from class 1 to class 8, it is the elementary stage. And further, if you include class 9th and 10th, that is the secondary stage of education. So SCRTs and state textbook boards, they develop textbooks starting from class 1 to class 10th. At the same time, you will find that this is at the state level, and at the central level, or you can say at the national level, NCRT also develops textbooks. That is, NCRT textbook, which is very popular in this country, and that textbook, NCRT prepared textbooks are practiced in central schools, in Kendriya Vidyalayas. Okay. So friends, NCRT, SCRT, SIEs, at the same time, state textbook boards are involved in curriculum planning, at the same time for developing textbooks for the students at the school education stage. Let us go forward. So now let us try to understand that curriculum framework for school education. So I can say that so far 4 curriculum framework, particularly at the school education stage, that has been developed by NCRT. The first national curriculum framework, that is in the name of 10-year school a framework, that was developed in 1975 by NCRT. So further we will discuss detail about the concept and different subject, the courses that has been addressed in 10-year school framework 1975, that is a type of national curriculum framework by NCRT for school education. Then further, the second national curriculum for school education, Yes, friends, we are just talking about curriculum framework for school education. I have already discussed that the first curriculum, national curriculum framework, which was developed by NCERT, that was in 1975. That is in the name of 10-year school a framework. Okay, and the second national curriculum, that is in the name of National Curriculum for Elementary and Secondary Education a framework, that was developed in 1988, that was developed by NCERT in the year 1988. Further we will discuss that what are the concept, what are the major philosophy, what was the fundamental principles that was addressed in the national curriculum framework, that is in the name of Elementary and Secondary Education a framework in 1988 in the year. Then further the third national curriculum framework was developed by NCERT in the year 2000, that is in the name of National Curriculum for School Education, that is in the year 2000. So, we will also further discuss that what are the concept and subject content point that has been addressed in the National Curriculum for School Education, which was developed in 2000. Then the recent National Curriculum Framework for School Education, that is popularly known as NCF 2005, National Curriculum Framework 2005, and you will find that the present curriculum across the country, the present school education curriculum across the country, textbook across the country, it may be NCERT based curriculum or it may be a different state, or you can say SCERT based curriculum of different states that has been developed as per National Curriculum Framework 2005. We will discuss that what are the paradigm shift, what are the different changes that has been carried out across the years or across the national curriculum frameworks. That means in 1975 the first 10-year school education framework, then further what has been changed in 1988, that is in the National Curriculum for Elementary and Secondary Education, and further in National Curriculum for School Education in 2000, and further in NCF 2005, what are the major paradigm shifts, what are the major shifting, what are the major changes that has been occurred. And let me to say that the recent development that's called as the NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, which is now that is in the process of implementation across the country, and further keeping in consideration of the philosophy, the very philosophy of National Education Policy 2020, fundamental principles of National Education Policy 2020, you will find that the National Curriculum Framework for School Education 2021 means NCERT is likely come forward with National Curriculum Framework for School Education on the basis of the NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020. So, NCERT may come with this National Curriculum Framework for School Education maybe in 2021 this year, or maybe in the next year by 2022. So, if you include the present, which is now the work is going on, okay, different consultation meeting and curriculum committee meeting is going on, and if you say that total 5 national curriculum framework that has been set up, and presently that we are practicing, that is based upon the National Curriculum Framework 2005. So, friends, let me to say these are the curriculum framework which has developed at the national level, and further you will find that the state governments, the institutions, if I will take the name, that is the SCERT, State Council of Educational Research and Training. So, what they do? They follow the concept and the national curriculum, what content point that has been suggested, that has been recommended, that has been included in different subjects at different stages of education, at the elementary stages of education, at the secondary stages of education. Then accordingly what they do, they also develop their curriculum committee, and their curriculum committee they can include certain more things keeping in consideration of the importance of the state practices, okay, maybe in social sciences, maybe in languages. So, friends, both at the national level Also at the state level, different bodies are there, different institutions are there, and dedicatedly they are working together for the cause of education, for developing curriculum, at the same time for developing the study materials in terms of different textbooks, and further they implement it. So these are the 4 different curriculum frameworks so far. We have undergone it, and you will find these are the chronology, these are the development, and if you want to go through the detail about this, you can find it in the NCERT website. It is in the public domain. So friends, let us go forward. So first we will discuss about the 10-year school framework, which is developed by NCERT in the year 1975. You see, different levels of school education that was suggested at that time, that is primary, upper primary and secondary stage. Primary, that is class 1 to 5, and you will find that the subjects that have been included in the primary stages of school education, that is a first language, that is the mother tongue of the students, then further mathematics, then environmental studies, which includes both the aspects or both the subject areas, that you can say that is social studies as well as general science. Okay, so it includes environmental studies, includes both social science as well as general studies as per 10-year school framework by NCERT in 1975. Apart from the environmental studies, further work education and the earth was also included in the curriculum, and also the another aspect, another area of studies at the primary stages of education in 1975 National Curriculum Framework, that is health, education and games. And further, to know the development, as you are the education student, you should understand the pedagogy, at the same time you should understand the development also, because it will help you for better understanding, at the same time to get a detailed knowledge about the chronology, about the development of education in this country. It may be related to curriculum, it may be related to pedagogy, it may be related to education system. Okay, so that's why you should get a type of holistic knowledge, a type of inclusive knowledge. So further, in 10-year school framework 1975, that is particularly in the level of upper primary, which is that includes class 6, 7th and 8th, you will find that with the above subject, that is the first language, recommendations had been given, that is making additional provisions for a second language alongside the first language. Second language always is the English language, and further mathematics. Then third, that is separating environmental studies into science and social sciences. So here at the upper primary stage, you will find that environmental studies again got because earlier 2 subject areas was included with environmental studies, but here particularly independently you have to study social science as a subject, and science is also another independent subject. At the same time, dividing work experience and art into 2 separate subject areas, further adding physical education to health education and games. So these are the important subject areas which was included in the curriculum as per 10-year school framework, which was developed in 1975. And further at the secondary stage, that is in class 9th and 10th, you will find that it added a third language with the above subjects at the upper primary stage. Means here one third language, that may be Sanskrit or any Indian language, that also got included in the curriculum framework in 1975. So friends, now after discussing the first national curriculum framework for school education, that is in the name of 10-year school framework 1975, now we will discuss about curriculum framework which was developed by NCERT in 1988. So let us focus some of the important points what was highlighted in the curriculum framework 1988. So it was not deviated much from 1975 curriculum framework. You will find, if you compare the subject and content areas of the earlier 1975 curriculum framework, you will find that more or less the curriculum framework which was developed in 1988 was more or less same. Then here inclusion of 2-year pre-primary education was recommended by 1988 curriculum framework. The learning of 3 languages from upper primary stage, okay, it was also there earlier. Then making learning joyful, activity oriented and play way technique. You see certain pedagogic strategies, aspects and you can say approaches that has been included, just like how to make teaching learning process joyful, activity oriented and play way technique. And mostly friends, when we talk about pre-primary education or the lower primary education even, you will find that our effort is to make our teaching learning process more and more activity oriented, activity centered, so that you will find that the students they will learn many things when they will play, when they will participate in different activities in a group, because we consider that learning is a social process. So learning is a social process is only possible when the children, when the students are involving themselves in different peer activities joyfully and in different group activities, in different hands-on activities, you can say, means they will work together in a group and they will learn something. So that's why friend, in curriculum framework 1988 you will find that activity oriented methods, joyful learning and play way techniques were given much importance, and further dropping of the term games from the list of subject was also recommended in the curriculum framework 1988 developed by NCERT. So friends, let us go forward. Now we will discuss the third curriculum framework which was developed by NCERT in the name of curriculum framework 2000. Okay. So let us focus some of the important aspects, some of the important points that was discussed, that was highlighted in the curriculum framework 2000 developed by NCERT. First of all, you will find that the early childhood education, that is ECE, that means the first 2 years of schooling, a type of curriculum was developed, a type of concept was developed that how to deal the students, especially in early childhood care education, or the students who are coming, who are studying at the pre-primary education, you can say. Then further primary education, that is class 1 to 5, that is the first 5-year formal schooling. Then upper primary stage, that is class 6, 7 and 8, 3 years of upper primary stage education, that is 3 years schooling. Then secondary stage, you already know that is class, that includes class 9th and 10th, that is 2 years of schooling. Then 3 language formula, okay, first is the mother tongue, second is the English language, and third is maybe Sanskrit, maybe Hindi, maybe any other Indian languages. So that was introduced, and that was you can say recommended by curriculum framework 2000. Then further NCC, scouting and guiding was also introduced. Then technology is added with science. So at that time, for the first time in curriculum framework, technology was given importance, particularly in science studies. But further now you will find that you can say information communication technology, at the same time use of technology in pedagogy in different subjects, that is not limited of knowledge. So how to you can say address the other areas of knowledge, just like peace education, just like work education, yoga education, life skills education, value education, you will find that still, but care had been taken in national curriculum framework which was developed in 2000 by NCERT, that how to develop, you can say, culture and a type of academic culture for the in-depth study with specialization in different areas, that was included. Then courses under academic streams and vocational streams, that what the students will study under the academic stream as well as under the vocational stream was also given importance in the curriculum framework 2000. Then foundation courses and elective courses, number of elective courses was also introduced in the curriculum framework 2000. So friends, let us go forward to discuss about you can say the recent development. That means now I am focusing upon the national curriculum framework 2005, which is popularly known as NCF 2005, which is developed by NCERT. And you will find that our curriculum, our teacher education curriculum, our school education curriculum and NCERT textbook, which is now you can say the students are using across the country, which is based upon the National Curriculum Framework 2005. Okay, it may be NCERT-led textbooks, or it may be different state, or you can say SCERT-based textbooks in different states. You will find that that is developed as per the National Curriculum Framework 2005. And friends, if you will go through the documents of National Curriculum Framework 2005, which is available in the public domain, that is in the NCERT website, you will find that a clear epistemological shift you will observe that for organizing school subject for school education. This is not only epistemological shift, you will also find that a clear pedagogical shift also has also been recommended, that how we have moved from a behavioristic approach, from a cognitivist approach to a social constructivist approach. So how to design the curriculum as per the constructivist approach, and further how to transact that curriculum across the subject by using the constructivist approach, and how to train our teachers, how to prepare our teachers, and how to develop text materials also, how to develop textbooks also as per the constructivist approach. And friends, let me to say that this world is moving rapidly. You will find that there is a clear pedagogical shift you will observe if you will go through different school education curriculum of different countries, that what type of knowledge students required at the elementary stage, at the secondary stage, and at the senior secondary stage. And let me to say that now we are focusing upon elementary and secondary stage, and your B.Ed curriculum, your B.Ed teacher education, teacher preparation program is for the secondary education. And as per NEP 2020, National Education Policy 2020, now the pedagogical and curricular structure that has been changed, which is going to be implemented, that is 5+3+3+4 system of education. For 5 years of foundational stage of education, then further 3 years of preparatory stage of education, then further again 3 years of middle stage of education, then further 4 years of secondary stage of education. It is going to be implemented, but now we are talking about elementary and secondary stage of education. So you will find, if you go through the National Curriculum Framework, you will find that how a type of epistemological shifts and pedagogical shifts that has been recommended. Then further, how to reduce you can say study stress on the children, means the curriculum stress, how to reduce the curriculum stress is also another aspect for developing the syllabi, for developing the curriculum. That was also another major focus. And another major focus was inclusive and integrated knowledge. So how to provide a type of inclusive education, inclusive knowledge to the students through the curriculum. Okay, means if you will go through education, the definition of education given by Mahatma Gandhi, that is, I mean, an all-round drawing out, education is an all-round drawing out of the child and man, body, mind and spirit. So here this has been given importance upon mental development, spiritual development, intellectual development, social development. So here that is only possible when our curriculum is inclusive, when our curriculum is integrated, when we are integrating other areas of knowledge with the core subject. You will find that this has been taken an unique place in the National Curriculum Framework in 2005. Then further 3 language formula with mother tongue as the best medium of instruction is also implemented. Then addressing marginalized groups. So how to address the marginalized groups? Those are not getting you can say benefits of education. Okay, so that is also another important concern in National Curriculum Framework 2005. Then how to address gender issues, how to address gender justice. So by when you are developing the curriculum, even if when you are transacting that curriculum, how to address the gender issues. Friends, if you will go through NCERT textbook at the same time in different SCERT based textbooks, you will find that how gender is addressed. You will find that when photos, when certain pictures in the textbooks you will find which is focusing upon the boy child, male child, at the same time you will also find that equally with the male child, then female child is also given importance, means gender neutrality, at the same time gender justice should be the part of our curriculum framework. And further, let me to say that sensibilities towards minorities, how to provide as the marginalized group, how to provide educational facilities to the minorities and other marginalized groups also, that is also important aspect. Then emphasis on construction of knowledge by the children. So friends, I was talking earlier, in NCF 2005 you will find that how to make how to develop curriculum, how to develop teaching learning process as per the constructivist approach of pedagogy or constructivist approach of teaching learning process. So accordingly, you will find that the children who are coming to the school, they are coming with huge experiences, huge life experiences. They are getting experiences at home, they are getting experiences in the community where they are living. When they are coming contact with different social groups, different social you can say with their friends, with their peers, with different groups, when they are coming contact with their physical environment, you will find that you will find that they are gathering many experiences, they are gaining many experiences. So how to use their experiences with the curriculum? And friends, you will be a very good teacher if you are able to connect the children's learning, children's life experiences, the experiences that they have gained from their life with the curriculum. Then you will find that the children, they will feel that the things which is going on in the school, the things that has been addressed in the curriculum, that is not the matter of another world, rather that is the matter of the world of the children. So that's why friends, children have the ability to construct their own knowledge, and it is the teacher that teacher can facilitate the learners, teacher can guide the learners, teacher can provide a type of constructive environment for the children where they will use their experiences and they can learn more and more things, they can learn new experiences. So these are the things which is addressed in the National Curriculum Framework 2005. Then further addressing other areas of knowledge in the curriculum, I have already said that it may be a type of peace education, it may be health education, it may be work education, it may be value education, it may be life skills education, it may be yoga education. So how to include these other areas of knowledge in the curriculum, and accordingly how to create a type of environment, inclusive environment and integrated environment in our school system, in our school curriculum, where the students will study the core subject at the same time as per their interest, as per their aptitude, as per their creativity. They will get opportunity to flourish themselves, to gain certain new experiences, gain certain new knowledge and skills, and they will involve to do certain things also. So that's why friends, in National Curriculum Framework 2005, you will find that a dedicated chapter is there that addresses the specific areas of knowledge and what strategies should be adopted to include these specific areas of knowledge in school curriculum. You will find that most of the schools, what they are doing, they are just simply doing certain activities, practicing certain activities, maybe a type of celebration in nature. That means you can say it may be a type of cultural meet, it may be a type of annual sports meet. So what they are doing, let for 1 week they are organizing different activities, may be related to sports, may be related to debate, certain discussions, certain cultural activities, and they feel that they have fulfilled their obligations, they have addressed the other areas of knowledge. But now you will find that it is a constant debate that why not to provide shape of other areas of knowledge as an independent subject, just like the core subject. Even you will find in NEP 2020, this has also been highlighted. NEP 2020, this has highlighted that how to provide learners the graduated skills, the skills they're supposed to, or you can say the learning competencies they're supposed to gain from the school education or from higher secondary education or from other education. So that's why different strategies we have to adopt so far as including these specific areas of knowledge in our curriculum. And further, the other basis of organizing subjects in school curriculum, we can highlight some of the important points, that is providing curricular experiences for vertical and horizontal mobility. So try to understand. Friends, let me to give one example. The curriculum of history. So what content point, what are the content concept that should be addressed in different stages, in different class of history. That means what the students will study in class 9th history, in the subject of history, and in class 10th what subjects or what particular content point they will study particularly from the history subject, and accordingly in class 11th and 12th, means vertically starting from the lower class to the higher class. So what content they will study, keeping in consideration of a particular subject, maybe in history, maybe political science, maybe you can say different science, maybe physics, maybe chemistry. At the same time, this is for vertical growth, vertical mobility, at the same time for horizontal mobility. In horizontal mobility, we can just consider that in a particular standard, in a particular stage, what content of social science they will study, what content of science they will study, what content of language they will study, and what content of mathematics they will study. And accordingly, keeping in consideration of a particular subject, let mathematics, what content they will study in class 9th, then in class 10th, class 11th, and class 12th. So that's why when we organize subjects in school curriculum, the vertical and horizontal mobility should be taken into consideration, whether we will plan our curriculum as per the spiral approach, unit approach, or any other approach. So psychologically, we have to adopt a definite approach for designing our curriculum, and that should be for the vertical and horizontal mobility for the learners. Then broad-based general education up to the secondary stage is also another important aspect that's come under the basis of organizing subjects in school curriculum. Means what particular knowledge the learners they're supposed to acquire, the competency they're supposed to gain, especially at the secondary stage. Then accordingly we have to design our curriculum. Then acquiring life skills, then you can say intelligence, emotional and spiritual quotient, intelligence quotient, emotional quotient, at the same time spiritual quotient. So we have to these important aspects should be taken into consideration, because after education the learners, the children, students, they have to lead their life, they have to live their life. So that's why whether they are able to achieve the life skills from our curriculum or not, from different subjects, from different syllabi that we have designed in our school or not. Okay, it may be interpersonal communication, it may be empathy, it may be, you can say, the other areas of life skills. Then further this can also be developed as per the intelligence, as per the level of intelligence of the learners. This is not only intelligence, rather the emotional and spiritual quotient, emotional and spiritual intelligence should also it should also be taken into consideration while organizing subjects in the school curriculum. And further, social context of learning. So friends, again and again I am saying that learning occurs in a social context, in a group, within the group. So friends, when the students study, when the students come contact with their friends, with other students, they learn many things. Okay, so learning hardly it is possible independently. So that's why, yes, self-learning is also this is also there is a place for self-learning learners, especially if I will tell about today's situation, by using internet, by using different you can say different websites and different online modules, online learning and online activities, they can also learn, but at the same time we can say learning mostly takes place in a social context. So that's why when we organize subjects in school curriculum, many activities we are supposed to include in the school curriculum, so that the students, they should get a space to work with other students, to work in a group. Okay, so when they will work in a group, they will study, at the same time they will gain many experiences. Okay, what is going on in the society, what is really important for them. So that's why social context of learning should be taken into consideration, should be given much importance while designing or while organizing subjects in school curriculum. The language and mathematical abilities with acquiring scientific temper. So friends, try to understand. Mostly you will find that these are the certain skills which we use in our everyday life. That may be the language skill and the mathematical skill, the computations. You will find that you can just gather many experiences from where you are living, from your immediate environment, from the family, from the society, from the community. You will find that many persons, you will find those have not studied, those have not come, you can say they have not gained any formal education, but still then they are doing many computation work. Okay, and at the same time, skills of language. We are talking about when we concern language subject, our concentration is to acquire the skill, 4 types of skills. Okay, it may be listening, it may be reading, it may be writing. Okay, so here you have to find out, you have to understand that how to include these 2 important aspects, that is language and mathematics, how to learners you can say acquire language skills and mathematical skills, computation skills. Okay, so that's why this should be given importance for organizing subjects in school curriculum and further understanding diversities and marginalization. So friends, again and again in my in different programs I always said that our society is a diversified society. You will find India is the only country in this world. You will find that huge diversities are there, starting from east to west, from north to south. You will find that so far as our culture is concerned, so far as our tradition is concerned, so far our practices are concerned, our language, our dialects are concerned, you will find that our practices are different. Many diversities are there, but we consider all these diversities as our strength. We never consider that all these diversities as our weaknesses. So these diversities that help us to achieve unity. So that's why friends, we have achieved unity in diversity. So friends, these philosophy should be addressed in school curriculum. This philosophy should be addressed when we organize subjects in school curriculum. You take the example of any document in education, any curriculum framework in education, maybe in NCF 2005 and maybe the recent development, that is National Education Policy 2020, you will find that these aspects, how to achieve unity among the diversities, that has been highlighted, that has been given much importance. So with the subjects, so when we are teaching or when we are designing subjects, maybe science, maybe social science, maybe languages, maybe mathematics, so how these issues, how the issues of marginalization, how the issues of diversity should be addressed is another part. Then further exploring children's inner and outer world. So friends, you have to understand the child first. So the curriculum and the subject in the curriculum should be able enough to understand the child, actually what is the requirement, what is the need of the child. Then accordingly, from the outer world, you will find that this is rightly said that few knowledge or few experiences they gain from the formal schooling, and you will find that many experiences they gain from informal and non-formal schooling. Okay, when they come contact with the society, come contact with different people, different culture, different tradition, different language, different lifestyle. So they gain many knowledges, they gain many experiences. So that's why from the outer world, at the same time from their inner world, so we have to, the curriculum should provide, our school subjects should provide enough opportunity to the learners to understand themselves, at the same time to understand their environment, the things which is going on outside, you can say things which is going on outside the school process, outside the formal schooling, that is also given importance while we organize subjects in school curriculum. Then providing opportunities to the children for construction of knowledge. I have already said that every child which coming to the school campus, they are coming with huge experiences. You can't say that they are coming with a vacuum mind. They are coming with huge experiences, and basing upon those experiences, they can gain new knowledge, they can construct their new knowledge, they can shape new knowledge. So that's why when we organize curriculum, this is also another base, that how to provide them for construction of new knowledge, how to facilitate them, how to provide different support to them, how to guide them. This is also another aspect. Let us go forward. Then further, for organization of curriculum, this is also another important aspect, that when we organize curriculum, the need of different stakeholders, that is also another important aspect. So friends, first stakeholder of school system or the curriculum, that is, we can say the prime beneficiaries, they are the learners. So keeping in consideration of learners at the center, all learning experiences should be organized, all learning activities should be organized, okay. But at the same time, the curriculum and the syllabus or the subject that we have organized for the school education, that is not only for the learners, at the same time that is for the other stakeholders, you can say for the teachers, for the parents, for the local government. So how to address their needs, just like I have already you can say focused upon the learners, they are the prime beneficiary, that every learning activity should be designed, should be included as per the need, interest, abilities of the learners. At the same time, the learner-centered pedagogic approach, which is highly highlighted, which is the major focus of the constructivist approach of teaching learning process, that how to design our activities, how to design teaching learning process as per the need of the learner. At the same time, making teachers, so how to make the teacher resourceful and professional competent to deal curriculum as per the learner-centered pedagogical approach. Yes friends, we have developed the curriculum as per the learner-centered approach, learner-centered pedagogical approach, but at the same time we have to orient the teacher. We have to, you can say, prepare our teacher that how they are able to teach, how they are able to, you can say, transact that learner-centered pedagogy, how they will understand the learner and what are the different techniques, different strategies, different methods they will follow, how critical pedagogy they will follow to transact the unique content by using unique methods and unique technique to make reach at the learner. So that's why we have to orient our teacher by developing many resource materials, and we have to we have to make our teachers competent. Then further, bridging community and local government close to school environment. So friends, let me to give one example. As per Right to Education Act, RTE Act 2009, which was implemented across the country, that was from 1st April 2010, you will find that curriculum, a clear recommendation is given that the community is given certain responsibility, certain prime responsibility, that community will come contact with the school system, and one SMC will be developed, that's called a school management committee, okay, where you will find that parents will be the member, local government will be the member, school teachers will be the member, and what they will do, they will develop a type of school development plan, that's called as SDP. That's a 3 years plan. That plan will include the development of the school in every aspect. It may be infrastructure, it may be human resources, it may be curriculum, and it may be in other aspects. So that's why friend, for organization of curriculum, for the need of stakeholders, you will find that how to bring community and local government close to the school system, how to involve community, because the success of school system, that depends upon how we have how we involve community and how we involve parents in our school system, because the children who are coming from the community, coming from the society, so if the parents will not guide them, if the parents will not concern about their children, hardly our education system will be successful. So that's why this is also important aspect. Then further, another important aspect that should be given importance while we design, while we organize subject in school curriculum, that is uniform versus locally designed syllabus. Okay, so what is the uniform curriculum? and what is the locally designed curriculum, and how these two things should be synchronized and how these two things should be properly addressed. So friend, this is a regular, you can say this is you can say continuous debate that how to address the uniform as well as the locally designed syllabus. So friends, let me to say that I have already said that education is in the concurrent list of the Constitution of India. Then it is the responsibility of the central government, at the same time state government, just to to provide educational facilities and to take the educational responsibilities and to teach the students, or you can say to make education reach at doorstep of each and every child of this country. So that's why the curriculum that has been developed, you can say certain centralized curriculum or national level curriculum, we have already discussed, that is developed by NCERT. You can say that is the National Curriculum Framework, NCF, and how to decentralize that national curriculum framework. For decentralizing the national curriculum framework, you will find that the curriculum, different curriculum that has been developed at different state level, through the you can say SCRT, State Council of Educational Research and Training. And here you will find that as education is in the concurrent list, you will find certain flexibility is given, always given to different academic bodies who are developing the curriculum, that they can include certain state specific important matters or important content point in their curriculum, maybe in the language, maybe in art and craft. You will find, you can take the example of many states, you can take the example of Assam, you can take the example of Kerala, you can take the example of Odisha, West Bengal, you can take the example of Karnataka, Maharashtra, Jammu and Kashmir. You will find that they have their state specific crafts, art and craft work. So how to include in the curriculum? So that's why you will find that in National Curriculum Framework in NCF, which is developed by NCERT, definitely certain state specific important matters, important content point that has been included in the curriculum, maybe a piece of language, maybe a piece of literature, maybe a type of art and craft. But at the same time, when you will go through the state specific curriculum or state level curriculum of different school education, you will find that the state specific important things, state specific important contents that have also equally addressed. So that's why certain flexibility is given always in our curriculum. Then further, the national goals of education. So when we construct curriculum, when we organize subjects in school curriculum, our focus is upon to achieve the national goal. Okay, just like national integration, international understanding, universal brotherhood. Okay, so how to achieve all such goals, how to achieve the value education, how to achieve the peace education. Okay, so you will find that many topics, many content points that are also given importance while organizing subjects in school curriculum. Then universalization of elementary education as per the RT Act 2009, you will find that this has been uniformly, implemented across the country. Then we can also give the example of RMSA, that is also a centralized plan. Then further, we can give example the diversities and marginalization and inclusion. Okay, I have already discussed that our approach, we consider that all our school is inclusive school. So that's why this is not only you can say only the children, those are coming from different social background, from different social groups. Rather, you can say that the curriculum, teaching learning practices, the activities, the methods that we are follow, the techniques, the pedagogy that we are follow, that should be inclusive in nature, so that the marginalized groups and proper, you can say, the facilities that we are providing, it should reach at a different diversified groups, because you are always, being a teacher, you are always dealing a heterogeneous group, you are not dealing a homogeneous group. So for dealing a homogeneous group in terms of languages, in terms of caste, in terms of their social groups, so how to deal them? So that's why inclusive curriculum is very much important, and inclusive pedagogy is also very much important. And further, we can talk about equality, equity, and quality in education. So for achieving quality in education, we should achieve equality and equity. Okay. So only achieving equality is not enough, rather we have to achieve the equity. Okay. We consider in our constitution, these are the values, these are the philosophy, you can say these are the fundamental principles that we consider in a formal system of education. We consider that all are equal. But this is not enough. With achieving equality, we have to achieve equity. We have to observe that whether all are reaching at a particular point or not. That is, you can take the example of minimum level of learning, MLL, minimum level of learning. So whether all the students, whether all the children are reaching at a particular level of subject competencies or not, whether they are reaching at a minimum level of mathematical learning or not, whether they are reaching at minimum level of social science learning or not, whether they are reaching minimum level of language learning or not. So that's why, friends, equality and equity should give an equal importance to achieve quality in education. So uniform as well as locally designed syllabus is always a matter of debate, and it should be addressed properly. That the locally designed syllabus should definitely reflect the local issues, the local important arts and crafts, local literature. At the same time, the national goal should not be diverted. The national goal, at any way, national goal should also be achieved. So that's why when we organize subject in school curriculum, such things should also be given importance. So, so friends, let us go forward. Then these are the other aspect, curriculum based upon NCF 1975, 1988, 2000, then 2005. You will find that the uniform and locally designed syllabus, the address that are also given importance. Then further we can say that curriculum and textbooks developed by SCRTs for different state board of education, you will find that they have also addressed the locally the issues relating to you can say local importance. Then I have already said that inclusion of local important things, that is, it may be language, it may be art and craft, it may be mathematics, it may be science, it may be society and culture, that also given much importance in designing curriculum. And further, bringing unity in diversity is also another aspect. Then bringing inclusiveness in curriculum is another aspect. And further, how to achieve the concerns of National Education Policy 2020, NEP 2020, the fundamental principles is also another important aspect. So friends, we have discussed most of the issues that for organizing subjects in school curriculum. Now let me to say one important development so far as your B.Ed program is concerned. We have developed massive open online course MOOCs on understanding disciplines and subjects. So I think this is the platform. You should know about the development of the courses that we have developed online, and if you are interested, you can join in this online course, so that you will get a different experience of the curriculum which is developed in understanding disciplines and subjects. It is one of the core course in B.Ed program. You will find high quality video programs, and also this has been developed in a modular approach. This course will start from 15th February 2021, and it is in the SWAYAM platform. So friends, for further queries, you can write to me niradhar@ignou.ac.in. You can also make me a telephone call. You can visit my Facebook page. You can go through my YouTube channel. Many videos related to understanding disciplines and subjects. At the same time, your Facebook live session relating to this session, you will find many video programs, and you can also access my Twitter handle. Thank you all.